Hey, it's Charlie Monet here with Paragon Motorsports, and I'm getting ready for an 8-scale race this weekend. So I figured it'd be a great time to put together a little tutorial on how to use our 1/8 scale Buggy tire gluing jig. A lot of people have asked kind of what my process is, so hopefully I can show you exactly what I do and make this even easier for you. Today we have some JConcepts Recon tires in the softest compound they have, which a lot of people are finding work pretty well for our track. So the first thing I like to do with these tires is put some tire punches in them. So we have our tire punching tool. I will typically use a 3mm punch, and I'll put 2 holes in them in the tire, one on each side. So go ahead and put it in here. And when you look inside, you can see that there's these ribs. I try and avoid punching a hole in the rib, so I'll put it just to the side. Right here you can see, I'll punch it on the inside of those ribs, and then I will flip the tire around 180 degrees, and I'll punch it on in the opposite rib groove. So this is now on the far one, the first time I punch it on the inside one. Not sure if it makes that big of a difference, but just try to make it a little bit symmetrical. So now I've punched it both in, pop the little rubber out, and now these ones are good to go. We'll take our foam. I find that folding the foam in half into a V shape makes it a little easier to put back inside. So now we're gonna put the foam back in. And these hole punches I'm doing are just to kind of prevent the tire from ballooning up or acting as kind of like a rebound. It lets some of the air out. And the reason you put it on the outside is in case any dirt or water gets in, it can vent as the tire spins. All right, so now we have our tire back on the foams. And what I like to do is clean the tire and the rim with some Simple Green. So I'll just spray a little bit on my microfiber cloth here and run it around. And I find that this works pretty good. Do both beads. Set that down, and then we have a JConcepts rim as well, and so I'll just wipe off the rim, make sure there's no residue from the molding process for this plastic, and ensure that we have the best stick possible. One thing to note for these tires is they're directional, and so as I put them together, I'll just want to make sure that I set myself up so that I can have all the tires going in the correct direction. Get the tire seated on the bead, make sure both sides are looking good. And this is kind of the most important part, is you got to make sure the tire sits right on the bead, and then when you put in the tire jig, it'll pull it back perfectly. So going around, it looks like my tire sat pretty well. I'll sometimes rub it across the table, just make sure it's all smoothed down. And yeah, it looks like this tire is now ready to glue up. A lot of people ask what tire glue I use, and what I found is that there's kind of 2 thoughts on this. When I'm gluing at home, I like to use a medium glue. It takes a little bit longer to dry, but it provides a slightly stronger adhesion. Just the thicker glue kind of allows it to get into the grooves a little bit better. However, if you're doing it at the track before your race day or before practice, the thin glue can dry a little bit quicker, and it may provide some benefits there. The other thing that a lot of people ask me is, as I get my glue tip ready, what these little black heat shrink tubes are used for that I provide with each tire jig. And I actually use these to hold the glue tip onto the bottle. Not all bottles need this, but I find that for some bottles, like this Starbond medium glue, it does help a little. And then I'll just hit it with the heat gun for a few seconds. Now we have it'll stick on there really strong, and it'll be easy to take off afterwards. So now that we have our glue ready and we have our tire ready, we grab our tire jig and we can start setting this up to glue. So typically the way I like to approach it is I'll do all one side. I'll take all 4 of my tires and I'll do all one side, usually the inside, just to kind of warm up. And then by then it should be dry enough where you can go and do the outside of all tires. For this one, I'll show you the outside. So you put the tire in, you can see it spins nice and free. We'll start tightening the jig. And before it's all the way tight, I like to make sure that it's evenly distributed across the tire. I don't have to do anything this time, it was, but it's always good to double check, because then you can ensure that your bead is pulled down evenly throughout. So now I've tightened it down, and I can see that the bead is really well pulled down. It's nice and even throughout the tire, and I can get my glue tip really pretty far down in there. If you see it, it gets all the way in. From here, one thing I like to do is I have a blue paper towel ready. This allows me to kind of verify that my glue is flowing properly, and we'll use this in a second as well. The other thing is, when I glue tires, I actually like to put the jig on a hard surface. As you tighten it down, it kind of allows it to rotate. And so when you're gluing the tire, it'll be nice to just let it rotate. When I start gluing, I'll usually pick one point on the tire jig. So in this time, I'll pick the P for Paragon, and I'll start there, and I'll just start going around the tire. One thing I notice is people tend to put too much glue in. It's so easy to get the glue in compared to doing it by hand, that people can get a little overzealous, myself included. It's not a big deal if you do, but it can just be a little bit messier. So I'll put the glue all the way throughout. We see we're back now to the P in the Paragon, so I know that we've put glue everywhere. Now we're just going to unscrew it. Take it out, and you can see it's seated down evenly. And I'll take one of my rubber bands, pre-stretch it, and put it over the tire. You'll get a little bit of glue that seeps out. If you look closely, you can see. And what I'll do is I'll take a blue paper towel, and I'll press it down like so. You can see a little bit of the glue that came off. But now we have a perfectly glued tire, and it's seated exactly flush on the rim, not a lot of glue coming out, and it will provide a really good seal. And you can see here's one that I glued up right before. The glue is the same, it's seated down, and I can go all the way around, pulling as hard as I want, and it's not coming off the bead. So yeah, it's as easy as that. I hope this tutorial is helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We're really excited with all the new stuff we've been doing at Paragon, and appreciate all the positive feedback. Thank you.